Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time you're tuning into this. Welcome to Humble Beginnings, the Undrafted Podcast. I'm your host, Roushell Hamilton Jr. And before I get started, I want to thank God for the gifts, talents, and opportunity to do something like this. I want to take time out to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me on this podcast. On today's episode 7, one of my favorite numbers, episode 7 of the Undrafted Podcast, the NFL released the 2018 preseason opponents for the Broncos and the other 31 teams because it's Broncos all day over here at the Undrafted Podcast. And we'll take a look at the Broncos preseason opponents for 2018. And in Table Top Chronicles today, I kind of had to switch it up a little bit. I have been pushed for time the last few weeks and I haven't had a lot of time to cook. So I'll tell you about one of my favorite options when I'm on the go and I don't have a lot of time that will still help me meet my goals without wrecking my eating habits. Chick-fil-A has a salad that I really like, and in Tabletop Chronicles with Chef Rodaddy, I'll tell you all about it. And in the Ballin On A Budget segment, I took a trip over to Oak Cliff to visit the Oak Cliff Cultural Center, where Miss Tisha Crear was kind enough to sit down with me and tell me all about the Oak Cliff Cultural Center and some of the programs that they have going on right now, as well as some of the programs that they have coming up. Well, episode 7 of the Undrafted Podcast begins now. Let's get it! The NFL announced the preseason opponents for all 32 teams. Now, it's Broncos all day here at the Undrafted Podcast, and I gotta say, I was a little bummed to find out the Broncos aren't coming to Texas again this year. The Broncos will play the Vikings and the Bears at home the first 2 weeks of the preseason. Then they travel to Washington for their first road game of 2018. Then they close out the preseason at Arizona against the Cardinals in week 4. The Vikings game no doubt has a little bit of intrigue, of course, because Case Keenum was their guy last season, and the field general for the Vikings now is Captain Kirk Cousins. Now, he was said to be Denver's #1 target in free agency, of course. Now, of course, we all know what happens. Kirk Cousins hits the market, was extremely expensive, way more expensive than what Denver wanted to pay. Cousins goes to Minnesota. Keenum comes to Denver. Also, the backup quarterback for the Vikings now, Trevor Siemian, was Denver's starter in 2016 and 2017. He was the starter at first in 2017. Then he got injured. Then he played terribly. And then Denver had the quarterback carousel, and we all know what happened there. Siemian will be back in Denver on the visitor sideline for the first time since being traded to Minnesota. It's too bad these two teams don't play each other in the regular season until 2019, because these would have been some great storylines for that game. Chicago's become a preseason opponent of choice for the Broncos, as this is the third consecutive year the two squads have met in the preseason. In Washington, the Broncos run into Alex Smith again, who's been a thorn in their side the last 2 years as the starter over in Kansas City. Now, let me clear something up. Kansas City swept Denver in 2016 and 2017, but let me just say, make no mistake about it. When the Broncos had Peyton Manning, the Chiefs got the best of Denver in 2015 in Denver. But before that, the Broncos used to wreck shop against the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs, so I just had to throw that out there. Now, the third preseason game is generally the most significant one out of all preseason games. It's considered the final dress rehearsal for NFL squads, especially the starters. Typically what happens in the third preseason game, the starters will play the entire first half, or at least the majority of the first half. Some teams will play their starters going into the third quarter. It just really kind of depends on how the coaches want to get a better look at the roster, or guys who have a great chance at making the roster. And if they want to catch a little bit longer look at them on the field and in real-time action, they'll go ahead and leave them in there. But generally, the second half is reserved for the 2s, 3s, and the 4s and beyond. In week 4, Denver heads to Phoenix to face the Cardinals, and then roster cuts will come soon after that. The NFL regular season schedule is expected to be released sometime next week. You can almost bet that the regular season schedule will be released on the 19th, because generally the NFL releases the regular season schedule exactly 1 week before the draft. And of course, the draft is on Thursday, April 26th this year. No dates have been set in stone for any of the 65 preseason games. The actual dates of the games are still forthcoming. Moving on to the Tabletop Chronicles with Chef Rodaddy segment, one of my favorite segments of this entire podcast, because this podcast is just about things that I'm passionate about, sports, food, and of course, balling on a budget. Well, anyway, like I was saying in the opener, I haven't had a lot of time the last few weeks. And if you're a lot like me, you're constantly on the go. You constantly have things to do. You're constantly being pulled in many different directions, but you still want to meet your weight loss goals or whatever kind of goals you're on. You still want to meet your weight loss goals. You still want to meet your diet goals. Or if you just changed the way you eat, you've changed your lifestyle, and you want to keep within that, but you don't have a lot of time to cook and you don't have a lot of time to meal prep, no worries. I got you. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is probably my favorite fast food restaurant out of all the fast food restaurants. And I'm talking about restaurants that have like a drive-through. Chick-fil-A is the one fast food restaurant where it's literally quicker for me to go inside the restaurant than it is for me to sit inside the drive-thru. Every time I've been in Chick-fil-A, I'm in and out in less than 5 minutes, even if they mess up on my order, which is very, very rare. But my go-to item at Chick-fil-A, if I'm not on a cheat day or I'm not having a cheat meal, my go-to item at Chick-fil-A is the Cobb salad with spicy grilled chicken. Trust me, this salad is from God himself. I'm telling you, this salad is so amazing. Now, let me tell you what comes on the Cobb salad with grilled chicken. Of course, it comes with spicy grilled chicken. It comes with grilled chicken, which is just grilled chicken that's been marinated in some seasonings and things like that. Personally, I like the spicy grilled chicken just because I like spicy food. The Cobb salad is a bed of chopped romaine lettuce, baby greens, that has shredded red cabbage and carrots in it, roasted corn kernels, some shredded Monterey Jack and cheddar cheeses, crumbled bacon, diced eggs, and those little grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. I can't remember which one it is. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but if you look up the nutritional value of this salad, and of course the spicy grilled chicken. If you look up the nutritional value of this salad, the salad itself with all these toppings is 430 calories. Now, that's before you put the dressing on. Now, me personally, I prefer the apple vinaigrette dressing, which has a little zing to it, but it's got a little sweet kick to it. Now, that dressing, I'll be honest with you, it's got about 14 grams of sugar in it, but if you're within your caloric deficit or if you're sticking to your eating plan, whatever it is, it's not enough that it's going to wreck you. Now, that dressing has, I believe, 200 calories in it. So with the 430 calories that are in the salad plus the 200 calories in the dressing, you're looking at about 635 calories in that one meal. Now, like I said, depending on what your goals are or what your daily calorie intake is supposed to be, that's not going to wreck you. Me personally, my daily caloric intake is anywhere from about 1,800 to 1,900 calories. So if I take in this salad, I can just, make up for it somewhere else depending on where I'm at in that day. Now, like I said, this is my go-to when I'm super busy and I don't have time to prep. I don't have time to cook. This is my go-to salad. This is my go-to Table Top Chronicle. But next time you go to Chick-fil-A, get the Cobb salad with spicy grilled chicken and the zesty apple vinaigrette dressing. You will not regret it. Trust me. And for the Ballin On A Budget segment, I took a trip down to the Oak Cliff Cultural Center and visited with Tisha Crear, who's the cultural programs coordinator. And the Oak Cliff Cultural Center it's a really, really neat cultural center. It has some things about the history of Dallas. They have a gallery in there that's, several different art pieces from several different people, artists, and inspirations, even some students from some of the local schools. So if you get a chance, go down to the Oak Cliff Cultural Center. You can even say, hey, I heard about you all on the Undrafted Podcast. Roushell told us to come down here and check it out. They operate the Cultural Center with your tax dollars, so you're already paying for it. It's free. Go take advantage of it. Fellas, if you need a cheap date, this is one of the places that you want to take your date to. Women love art. They love different things. They love to see galleries. Show them something different. Take them down here. Anyway, I sat down with Miss Tisha Crear, who was kind enough and nice enough to sit down with me and explain to me about the Oak Cliff Cultural Center, some of the programs that they have going on, and some of the things that they have coming to you in the near future. Take a listen. What is the Oak Cliff Cultural Center? all about?
Okay, so the Oak Cliff Cultural Center is. Let me hold it.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay, the Oak Cliff Cultural Center is a cultural arts facility that's a part of the network of arts facilities that are operated by the City of Dallas Office of Cultural Affairs. So, City of Dallas residents, your tax dollars are paying for cultural centers, and like the other cultural centers, we have an art gallery and we have a performance studio, and a lot of different free or low cost programming that deal with art and culture. So, like I said, there's a network of cultural centers. So there's the Latino Cultural Center, the South Dallas Cultural Center, the Bathhouse Cultural Center, and each of these are located in different neighborhoods throughout Dallas. And we're over here on Jefferson Boulevard. We've been here for about 10 years. And we have our art gallery, we have our dance studio, we have resident dance companies, and a lot of great programming for the whole family.
Okay, awesome. And how long? Oh, well, you already answered that question for me, so I'll just move on to the next one. What are some of the more notable pieces or exhibits that you all have on display now?
We change out the gallery exhibits every 6 weeks, and so every 6 weeks, if you come in here, you're going to experience a new, mostly local or regional artist on exhibit, and it's all different type of exhibits. It's from paintings and drawings to sculptures and installations. And right now we have our annual exhibit that's on. It's the Dia de los Niños exhibit, which is an exhibit that is showing work from a lot of the local elementary school students. Their art teachers submit their work and put them on exhibits. So it's just a lot of cool work by local young people.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm. And then, but there's always something different. I mean, we just had an exhibit by an artist named Art Garcia, and it was a big, very kind of industrial meets nature type of installation,
Okay.
A sculpture exhibit with like huge pieces, we've had, Jose Vargas do his annual exhibit that has to do with the Virgin of Guadalupe. Yeah, so that happens every year. I mean, and like I said, it's just always all kinds. I mean, graffiti, just every medium you can imagine we've had in here. So the art gallery is just always just kind of rotating with some exciting new art. And it's always free to come. And we always have a reception. And sometimes we have an opening reception and a closing reception.
Get out of here.
Yeah, okay. And so at the reception, we have, wine and refreshments. And, you get to come and meet the artist. And it's always like really interesting, beautiful people here. And it's free because you've already paid for it with your taxes.
And free is the best price. I tell people all the time, you can't beat free. So it's free, and you can get wine, free food, and meet some of the artists.
Exactly.
You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. You can't beat it. And the thing is that all of the cultural centers have it like that. The Oak Cliff Cultural Center is one of the smallest. Is the smallest cultural center in the whole network that I was telling you about. But like the South Dallas Cultural Center, they have like a double gallery. So they have a huge, beautiful gallery, and then they have like a smaller, beautiful gallery that's for a more emerging artists. And then the larger gallery is for, more known artists. And then they have like a dance studio and a recording studio and we used to over there have a photography studio and pottery room and different things like that. But big old theater, plays all the time. You know what I mean? These things are really inexpensive to participate in, if not free.
Right. So. And why not take advantage of it? Your tax dollars are already paying for it.
Tax dollars already pay for that free 99. So you come get it.
Right. Okay. Now I saw when I was looking on the website for the OCCC. I saw that you all have some youth programs that are available for like the summer and things like that. Can you kind of expand on those a little bit?
All right, so at the Oak Cliff Cultural Center, we have all kinds of programs for youth. First, we have a resident dance company, but they do ballet folklorico. They're called Alegre, and they teach classes to young people who are interested in ballet folklorico, and also all the way up to adults. So there's opportunities there throughout the year, and then throughout the year we usually also do after school programs and various seasonal programs, free activities, art classes, art workshops, and things like that people can come into. So you can just always check the website or our Facebook page to stay posted on that. We are preparing for the summer. So every summer we have a huge summer camp, and we do a spring break camp as well. These are free. Okay, and so with this summer camp, our first section of the summer camp is run by this company called Caramia Theater Company, and they come in, and it's called the School of Yes, and the children have the opportunity to get all day cultural arts training. They take theater, they take dance, they take music, they take writing. And then they take photography and film as well. And they create a big, beautiful show that we usually do at the Texas Theater. And usually, because of the first year when we started that tradition, and we kind of kept it up, they do some sort of parade down the street. Like, see this huge puppet right here?
Right.
That's one of the years, that's what they made. So it's a little tiny little person in this 12, 15 foot, puppet.
That looks really good.
Thanks. Yeah. So they learned how to, the children designed that, designed the mask, and designed the costume, and learned how to do the inner workings of making a large masquerade type of puppet like that. That's just an example. And see, like these little drums here. Here, this. See this? We made a drum. We have a music teacher who takes wood and tape and creates drums.
Okay.
So each child gets to go on with the drum that they created. So anyway, you get the idea of what it's like. It's just a really fun activity. A fun camp. So that's like I think it's either 4 or 6 week camp that we do every year. So and then after that we do a little more low key camp. It's still very great and enriching, but it's just a little bit more low key as far as like. This camp is super intense. But yeah, so we do that every summer. Now, and that's another thing, is that each of the cultural centers have programs, summer camps as well.
Okay. And for the people who are interested in getting their kids or their little artists involved in those camps, when do they start, and where would they need to go to register for something like that?
They need to register now. I don't know about the other centers as far as their deadlines, but at the Oak Cliff Cultural Center, our deadline for the summer camp applications are coming up pretty soon. So they can just stop by one of the stop by the Oak Cliff Cultural Center and fill out an application, or any of the other cultural centers, and see what's going on. You can also check out, just in general, about the cultural centers. You can check out more information at dallasculture.org, and there you will see all of the cultural centers. You can click on them and look at their different schedules of programs, and then even go, of course, to their Facebook page to get more real-time information. And just check it out and sign up.
Okay. And we already know the price is free, which is the best price. Now, what are the hours for the Oak Cliff Cultural Center?
The Oak Cliff Cultural Center is open. The Oak Cliff Cultural Center is open Tuesday and Thursday, 1 to 9 p.m. And Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday we close at 6. We also have a monthly poetry event that happens once a month. The last Saturday of each month, there's like an open mic poetry event here. It's called Verse and Rhythm. And that's the last Saturday of each month. It's usually from like 7 to 9. And that's also free. And there's also wine and things like that too. So that's a really fun outing, a really fun grown folks type of outing that we have here.
Okay. All right. And as far as the social media, what social media pages or handles can people find the Oak Cliff Cultural Center on?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page that is right there, Oak Cliff Cultural Center on Facebook. And then, like I said, you can also look up our whole department's page, which is under the Office of Cultural Affairs, which is a part of the city of Dallas departments. Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, just come on out. And, it's just, like I said, like we said, your tax dollars have already paid for it. There's so much free programs, not just for children, but also for adults, for seniors. And it's just a lot of incredible resources that are available to you. So use it.
There you have it. That is Tisha Crear with the Oak Cliff Cultural Center, or as they like to call it, OC3. All right, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, that's my time for today here at Humble Beginnings, the Undrafted Podcast. I'm your host, Roushell Hamilton Jr. I want to thank God for giving me this opportunity and the gifts and talents to be able to do this. I want to thank you, like I always do, for taking time out of your day to come over here and hang out with me at the Undrafted Podcast. Don't forget, follow the Undrafted Podcast on Instagram at the Undrafted Podcast and on Twitter at the Undrafted Pod. That's a wrap for episode 7 of the Undrafted Podcast. Remember, do your best and let God handle the rest. Be blessed.